Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're really getting into something fundamental. How does successful work actually get done? I mean, we all have those flashes of inspiration, right? Those great ideas, but what turns that spark into something real? Something high quality that actually delivers consistently? That's what we're digging into.
It really is the million-dollar question, isn't it? And it's something Stella Pop tackled directly with this system they call the loop. They have this great line. Inspiration is magic, sure, but execution is where brands grow, campaigns convert, and creative chaos becomes business brilliance. That really sums it up.
So it's more than just a process map.
Oh, yeah. They call the loop their operating rhythm for how they think, build, and evolve. It's all designed, as they say, to help them work smart, fast, and with just enough caffeine. It's about making effective delivery repeatable.
Okay, so not just a checklist then, but a whole philosophy. Our mission today, for you listening, is to really unpack the loop. We'll go through its 4 phases, see how they connect, and understand how they lead to that consistent quality output. All right, let's unpack this. So every great campaign, every new product, it all starts somewhere, right? With that initial spark, that's phase 1 of the loop, think. But, I've seen it happen so many times, and I bet you have too, where great ideas just stall, they get stuck right at the beginning. How does Stella Pop stop that from happening in this think phase?
That's such a common problem.
Yeah.
And in think, they're pretty relentless about exploring that spark from, as they put it, every angle.
Yeah.
So that means asking the supposedly dumb questions, which often aren't dumb at all. It means gathering the data, sure, but also actually interviewing humans, getting those real perspectives and digging into insights others ignore, finding what's hidden beneath the surface, and crucially, documenting everything. They make a great point. Systems love documentation, and so does future you.
Right. That documentation piece, I can totally see that. You avoid that whole tribal knowledge trap where only one person knows why something is the way it is. And this leads to what sounds like a really core idea from them. Think is where delegation begins. If you can clearly lay out the goal, the audience, the landscape, and especially that why, they say it makes it 10x easier to get others involved, aligned, and moving in the right direction. Why is nailing that why so important for delegating well?
Well, think about it. That initial clarity, it's like a perfect handoff in a relay race, isn't it? When everyone genuinely understands the purpose, the core reason why you're doing this, and the basic rules of the game, they can make smart decisions on their own. They don't need constant hand-holding. So in this phase, you see concrete things happening like creative research, market research, really digging into voice of customer stuff, mapping trends, building aspiration boards, also developing strategy docs, and even using tools like Loom walkthroughs, those video SOPs to make sure processes are clear and repeatable. So think boils down to research plus insight plus ideas plus delegation-ready clarity. It's about getting super clear on the problem and the path before you start building anything.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So once you've got that deep thinking, that clarity all locked down, you move into the plan phase. This is where Stella Pop says strategy struts in. It's taking that brilliant idea and giving it, well, a roadmap, a real plan to make it happen.
Exactly. This is where they zoom out. They start asking those bigger questions. Like, okay, where does this project actually fit in the grand scheme of things? What's the real business goal here, not just the project goal? What does success actually look like? How will we measure it? And practical stuff too. Who owns what, by when? And the big one, how do we translate these cool ideas into actual measurable impact? It's also where they get, real about scope, budget, and timeline. Super important. And they identify those variables that matter, the potential roadblocks to try and head off bottlenecks early.
So it's definitely not just busy work or shuffling papers. It sounds like real strategic foresight. It feels like this planning stage becomes the blueprint, the thing that lets the team actually focus their creative energy on doing, instead of constantly stopping and going, wait, what are we doing again? Is that investment up front what saves energy later?
Absolutely. It creates that shared mental model. Everyone's looking at the same map. So this phase involves creating things like detailed creative briefs, campaign briefs, clear project timelines with milestones, those crucial stakeholder alignment meetings, getting everyone on board, plus developing the messaging strategy, the targeting logic, and figuring out production schedules, resource allocation, all that groundwork. So plan really equals alignment plus visibility plus clarity. It's that moment where the whole team sees the path forward together.
Okay, so we've planned meticulously. Now we get to the do phase, which Stella Pop calls the fun part. We build cool shit. And who doesn't love seeing ideas finally come to life? But even with a solid plan, the doing part can still get messy, right? How do they keep it as creative magic without it just becoming chaos?
That's the balancing act, isn't it? And while it is definitely where the creative magic happens, they stress that it's always grounded in the plan. Implementation for them is equal parts creative instinct and systemized flow. It's not about squashing creativity, it's about channeling it productively. And they do give a shout out here. They mentioned Basecamp, the project management tool. Gets a lot of love here. Seems key for keeping things organized.
Right. And this is where you see all the tangible stuff happening. The design sprints, the dev sprints, A/B testing copy and visuals, launching ads, rolling out campaigns, getting client approvals, doing QA checks, internal reviews, and finally, those go-lives. It's where the rubber really hits the road.
Exactly. The focus here is squarely on action plus accountability plus awesome work delivered.
Right.
The goal is consistently shipping high-quality stuff without burnout or bottlenecks. Because the think and plan phases were so solid, the DO phase can be much more efficient. It frees up energy for that creative execution.
Okay, that makes sense. And that brings us to the final phase, tune. Stelpup says they're allergic to rinse and repeat, which I love. But it makes me wonder, how often do you, listening now, actually pause after finishing something to really learn from it? Or do you just jump straight into the next fire because this pause, this tune phase, feels vital?
Oh, it's absolutely critical. It's the engine of improvement. This phase is all about reflection. They ask the tough questions: what absolutely crushed it, what totally flopped, and crucially, why? Also, what insights can we recycle, repurpose, or rethink for next time? So they're looking at the data, getting feedback from the team, running retrospectives. They say retros that don't suck, which honestly, I'd love to know their secret for that. And then they take all that learning and turn it into better strategy, better assets, and better results next time around. It's about closing the loop, making the organization smarter.
Yeah, that's how you go from just winning occasionally to building real compounding momentum, getting better each time instead of reinventing the wheel.
Precisely. So activities here are things like metrics reviews, digging into dashboards, having those honest client and team retrospectives. Also, implementing actual system upgrades or process fixes based on what didn't work, sharing knowledge across teams, and updating the playbooks. So tune, really, it means reflection plus iteration plus continuous improvement. It's what drives sustainable growth and quality.
So when you zoom out and look at the whole leap, think, plan, do, tune, you see why they built it. They were, as they put it, tired of watching great ideas fizzle out from a lack of clarity, alignment, or momentum. They saw a problem and engineered a solution.
And the outcome is this system that lets them move fast without breaking things, lets them collaborate without chaos, and maybe most importantly, helps them get better as they go project by project, campaign by campaign, loop by loop. They really emphasize it's not about being perfect. It's about being better every single time.
And you can see how this applies, whether they're doing a full rebrand, launching a tricky LinkedIn ad campaign, or just giving a customer experience that glow up. The loop is always there, humming in the background. So thinking about all this, what does it mean for you listening? When you think about your own work, your own projects, how do ideas move from just a concept to actually being finished? Is there a kind of loop running in your background, even if it's not explicit?
Yeah, maybe take a step back. Consider not just the individual tasks or projects, but that meta process, that loop that's running underneath it all. Here's a thought. What could happen if you deliberately built in more reflection, more that tune phase into your regular workflow? How could that change not just your output, but the actual quality of your learning over time? What could you achieve if every single project made you demonstrably smarter for the next one?